Hey guys, welcome to Braddels Gaming and to another episode of my Far Cry 5 community creation series. In this series, I feature other people's maps on the Far Cry 5 arcade, and this is the first of a triple header Halloween special on this channel where I release 3 horror inspired maps all on this special day which we call Halloween. Now, I've already released one horror-inspired map this month, and that was Mist Aftermath yesterday, an eerie journey map set within a national park consumed by a mysterious mist. So definitely check that video and map out if you haven't already. But today we're taken through a slightly different approach with the Apocalypse created by ProXMK set during a zombie apocalypse. Because what Halloween special would be complete without a zombie apocalypse? Now, like I mentioned in the Mist Aftermath episode yesterday, I'm going to try and keep the commentaries in these horror-themed episodes shorter so that you guys can immerse yourselves in these maps in the same way that I did when playing them. This is especially true if you are not on the Xbox and can't experience these maps for yourselves, as the last 2 maps that I featured, Mist Aftermath and now the Apocalypse, are unfortunately only on the Xbox. But stay tuned PC and PS4 fans, as the next 2 maps I feature later today will be available to play on all 3 platforms. Nonetheless, feel free to keep watching the video beyond the commentary, which isn't done yet, as I'll quickly cover my pros and cons for this particular map. Starting off with the pros, and I really do enjoy the color palette on this map. The red is intense enough to really employ these feelings of distraughtness and despair during a apocalypse, but they're not overly saturated or too hot in terms of the temperature. I've definitely seen a lot of creators struggling for realism, especially when they turn the oversaturation or the temperature for their maps, for the color palettes of their maps, way too intense. Take, for example, a Vietnam map. I see a lot of people putting way too much green into their Vietnam maps, when in reality, Vietnam isn't that green in real life. But moving on, I also really enjoy the level of fog within the forest. I think it is perfect. It really emphasizes the storm effect, which creates a silhouette of shadows throughout the woods whenever a lightning strike flashes. The level of fog within the city, though, or within the town, could be improved. I definitely think there should be a lot more smog within the town, sort of illustrating that it's very polluted at the moment with all the fires that are burning throughout the town and within the world as well. I like the narrative of getting to your secret weapon, which is illustrated in the loadouts. I was constantly trying to guess what the secret weapon would be during the playthrough of the map, which really added a lot of, I guess, ambiguity and suspense about what the secret weapon was going to be. However, whilst I think the secret weapon is a good choice, now I'm not going to reveal it, obviously it's going to be in the gameplay, um, but it's a very fun secret weapon to use. I would have actually added it earlier into the map, because putting it right next to the extraction zone kind of does make it feel like it's a little bit pointless to actually use it. And so I definitely think the map could benefit from putting the secret weapon either at the start of the town or perhaps in a garage or a bunker within the map somewhere, but definitely not at the end, because like I said, when you put it at the end of the map, it basically just makes it worthless and not really like any point to using it. And you definitely want your players to use the secret weapon earlier in the map so that they can have a purpose with it, and that purpose would be to fight themselves out of the sticky situation that they've gotten themselves into. I also think the narrative could be improved by maybe you have to go to the town to get some sort of, I guess, maybe rescue your family or something, which could be indicated by a friendly AI civilian. Because going to a town where there's a lot more zombies and a lot higher danger, it just doesn't really make much sense to go into if you're talking about an apocalypse. Unless, of course, you're trying to go into there to get supplies or something, but of course, you'd really want to weigh up the risk and reward of that. And I definitely understand that the creator is trying to create the narrative that that is where your secret weapon is. But again, like I said, if the secret weapon is based right next to the extraction zone, there's not really too much point in using it. You may as well run into the extraction zone, and that'll be the end of the map. So definitely definitely what I hope to be some thoughtful considerations for the creator if they are to watch this video. But also to help any of you guys out there if you're trying to create a similar map. Now, some of the other improvements for this map is to make the roads smoother to drive on. As you guys can see from the gameplay now, the roads are pretty good, but they're also pretty rough and pretty bumpy, and so a simple use of the smooth tool could just ensure that all the roads are really well crafted so that players can traverse the terrain in the vehicles a lot easier and make it a much more smooth journey to the town. I also would suggest shortening the driving sequence. Whilst it definitely was fun to sort of race through the forest towards the town, it felt a little bit too long and drawn out, so I would definitely suggest reducing this sequence or this segment. I would also add more zombies to the town and create a more authentic town in terms of the micro detailing such as dead plants, rubbish, potholes, graffiti, lights, vehicles, just a whole lot more overlay of detail to really create a authentic town. I would also remove the town's dead ends where the roads sort of go into buildings. Instead, I would allow the roads to transcend into different directions to make it a little bit more realistic. But otherwise, that wraps up yet another Community Creations episode on the Braddels Gaming YouTube channel. Stay tuned for 2 more horror-inspired maps coming very soon, but first don't forget to play this map if you're on the Xbox One, and like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more juicy Far Cry content. For now, feel free to watch the rest of the gameplay, especially the reveal of the secret weapon and mayhem I cause with it. But as always, I'm Braddels Gaming. I'm signing out now, and remember to have yourselves a great day.
Success.